Fantasy Fomo. For those new to the channel, we take a data-driven approach to fantasy football. Our goal is to reduce FOMO by making fact-driven decisions. To stay up to date, like this video, click subscribe and the bell notification. In this episode, we're going to analyse players that still have the potential to be cash cows, and importantly, highlight any that really should be removed from your team. So let's make a search to select players with their points per match average. And let's restrict that down to this year. And we also want to restrict that down to where they've played greater than 3 matches. So they've played every match this year. The other metric I want to add is salary variance. So this is a formula that, based upon their current salary and points per match, how much future variance can we see? So this is a little bit busy, this chart. So let's change this over to a scatter chart. And what we can see across the x-axis is the average points per match, and the y-axis is how much future variance is still available, both positive and negative. So I also want to cut this by their current salary bands so we can get an idea of their current salary. So what we can see here immediately is a few outliers are presenting themselves. So in this navy to dark blue colouring, we can see that Lachie Neale, who's currently still priced relatively highly, he still has a minus variance of nearly $150,000. So if you haven't already got rid of Lachie Neale, this is a big red flag. You probably need to in the near future. In addition, we can see that, outliers from the positive side. We can see here Taylor Walker, that his average per match of 130 has just been excellent this year. And potentially, if he maintains this, he still has a long way to go in earning cash. So if he maintains 130 for the year, that's another $230,000. Even with a points per match of around 100, Taylor Walker still has a long way to go. And we can see here a number of other outliers. So who do we have? We have Jack Zeeble, potentially another 200K. Tom Hickey, 200K. Jarman Impey, potentially another 180. Errol Goulden, and Chad Warner. So let's just add some colour banding in this just so we can get an idea. So I want to highlight anything above 150,000 as purple, and anything below minus 100, let's go minus 100,000 as light red. And then let's just go in between that of minus 100,000 up to 150,000. That's grey, just so we can get a better idea of our outliers. And again, we can see that they speak to themselves. So if we just want to switch this over to have a look at that by position. So let's have a look at this by player's position. And let's start by defenders. So if we just highlight our defenders, let's have a look and see what opportunities we still have in the defence for players to either make us money or potentially lose us quite a lot. So we can see here the one player that is standing out in the defence is JC. So salary potential variance is 160K, currently averaging about 100 points per match. And I'm just going to add in one more conditional formatting line. And let's just change this a little bit to up to the 100 banding and just add in greater than equal 100,000 to that 150,000. Let's go green on this. So let's have a look at our sort of second tier. So who else do we still have in this range? Jack Bowes has the potential to earn another 100,000. Lachie Scholl, Blake Hardwick, and all these players are averaging very well, just under that 100 points per match. Isaac Cumming, Lachie Young, and Nicholas Cox still have the potential to really earn some salary before upgrading to the premiums. On the other side, let's have a look at some of the players that aren't polling so well. So we've got Nicholas Cofield, who do we have here? Caleb Daniel, really poor season so far for Supercoach. Braden Maynard, Nick Haynes, Jake Lloyd. Yes, he's a primo, but he's still got a bit of salary variance to go on these averages. And Luke Ryan. So let's move to having a look at our forwards. So we're just highlighting the forwards here. There's a lot more opportunity of players that have still got quite a bit of salary movement to go. And we see here Taylor Walker, as we called out earlier. Jack Zeeble, currently averaging over 111. Still potentially another 200k. Jarman Impey. Chad Warner. In the slightly lower bands, we have Aaron Norton, Josh Bruce, Tom Atkins, Keziah Pickett. Who else do we have here? Nick Cox and James Rowe. And let's have a look at those that, really want to make sure we get them out of our forward positions. Who do we have here? Peter Adams. Tommy Hawkins is potentially going to drop another 80k with his current points per match. Charlie Dixon. Dane Zorko, not so much variance there, so he's about minus 7k, so he's on that 7 mark. Let's have a look at the midfielders. So the midfielders, there's the one standout here is Errol Goulden, still potentially another 250k. So again, if he's not in your team, really should be in the team by now. On the flip side, there are a number of players who potentially lose a lot more money. We have Lachie Neale, Taylor Adams, potentially still another 120k. Obviously, did get injured on the weekend. James Walpole again, potentially another 110,000 in loss. So look at the second band of players here: Lockie Scholl, Lockie Young, Tom Powell, potentially another 130k, even with a low average of 70. Sam Berry and James Jordan, still some great cash earning potential. Finally, let's just have a look at our ruck division. And we can see here who we got standout. Tom Hickey, still potentially another 200k on his current points per match of nearly 110, just an exceptional year. On the flip side, Peter Adams, really burning his cash. So let's switch this over to look at our players that have played only 2 games this year. So they haven't actually had a price movement. So in our search, let's just change that to matches to 2. And we're seeing here all the positions that are players that are on the bubble. So this is really quite interesting. There are some opportunities both to lose a lot of cash that you need to get out of and to make some money. So let's have a look at who these are. Jake Stringer, currently averaging 105 points per match. Potentially, if he keeps this up, in 280k, will Jake Stringer be able to do that for the entire season? Who else do we have? Dyson Heppel, Mitch Lewis, Marcus Adams, Chris Burgess, these two. Alec Waterman, who's obviously priced at 102,000, so really should be coming in everyone's team. And Thomas Highmore. So unfortunately, he's been sitting on those 2 matches for the last couple of weeks. Let's have a look at the bottom end of those players that probably shouldn't have in our team at this point in time. Sam Menegola has played the 2 players. Average is very low, potentially going to lose 180k. Michael Walters, Jared Berry, Gary Rowan. So there's quite a few premium players. Mitch Wallace that are potentially going to lose quite a lot of salary. So even if you want to get them, you can get them in later in the season. So that's it for this week's episode. We've just had a quick look at potential price variance for those looking to trade into players that have played either 2 matches or for the season, and also those players that we should be getting out of. So leave your feedback and questions in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe.